Testing. Speaking practice, day 1. Second part. SBS News podcast, morning edition. The date is Morning News Bulletin 26 March of 2024. Abstract as follows. Israel cancels a delegation to the U.S. after a UN ceasefire resolution. 3 homes lost in a bushfire south of Perth accidentally sparked by campers. And in football, Graham Arnold unleashes fresh faces for Australia's second World Cup qualifier against Lebanon. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has cancelled a delegation to Washington after the United States abstained from voting on a UN Gaza ceasefire resolution. All 14 other members of the UN Security Council have voted for the resolution calling for both the release of Israeli hostages by Hamas and an immediate ceasefire, but not dependent on the hostages' release. Mr. Netanyahu had earlier threatened to withdraw a visit by top aides to the US if the country did not use its veto power in the Security Council, as it has done 3 times since October the 7th, also previously abstaining twice. Washington, where a separate set of talks with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant is still expected to take place, has said the decision by Mr. Netanyahu is disappointing. White House National Security Spokesman John Kirby says the U.S. abstaining does not reflect a shift in policy. We have been clear and we've been consistent in our support for a ceasefire as part of a hostage deal. That's how the hostage deal is structured, and the resolution acknowledges the ongoing talks. We wanted to get to a place where we could support that resolution, but because the final text does not have key language that we think is essential, like a condemnation of Hamas, we could not support it. 3 homes have been lost in a massive out-of-control bushfire south of Perth, which was accidentally sparked by campers. Fire and Emergency Service Commissioner Darren Killam confirmed the probable losses, saying 5 short-stay accommodation units had also been raised. He says firefighters have worked hard to successfully prevent lives and more homes from being lost in the blaze, which has been fought using hand tools as embers rain down kilometers ahead of fire front. Without the outstanding efforts of the more than 155 fighters and personnel who have worked around the clock since the fire started on Saturday afternoon, there would have been more properties lost or damaged, or even the loss of life. Emergency warnings remain in place for communities in parts of Kulub, Milan, Nangabrook, Auckland, Teesdale, and Waroona. Local officials say a magnitude 6.9 earthquake that hit a remote part of western Papua New Guinea has killed at least 3 people and caused extensive damage to around 1,000 homes. The quake rocked the East Sepik region on Sunday morning near the town of Ambunti, about 750 kilometers northwest of the capital of Port Moresby. East Sepik Province Governor Alan Bird says an initial estimate shows the earthquake has destroyed around 1,000 homes in the area, which has already been dealing with widespread flooding from earlier in March. Oh my gosh. Tasmanian Labour frontbencher Dean Winder has reportedly put his hand up to lead the party following its 4th straight election defeat. Labour won just 29.2% of the primary vote at the state election, a 1% increase on their 2021 campaign affected by infighting and scandals. Leader Rebecca White conceded defeat after initially appearing to leave the door open to govern a minority, with the party set to win just 10 or 11 seats in the parliament. Lodgers have been given the green light to resume tree felling operations after shocking footage showed koala falling to their death on South Australia's Kangaroo Island. The state government halted lodging after videos captured by whistleblowers came to light earlier this month. However, Environmental Minister Susan Close has now approved the resumption of tree harvesting after timber company AG Investment Management submitted a new koala management plan, which it claims will prevent further death. The lodgers are removing invasive Tasmanian blue gums from the island, which are a highly inflammable tree that contributed to devastating bushfires which saw half of the island and around 30,000 koalas burned in 2020. And in sport, Graham Arnold could unleashed up to 5 fresh faces for Australia's second clash with Lebanon tonight, as the Socceroos look to take a meaningful step toward FIFA World Cup qualification. Jordie Balls, Riley McGree, and Kenan Bacchus are out with injuries and a suspension respectively, and Arnold has hinted there could be more rotation calls made for Tuesday's night's Canberra contest. Australia ground out a 2-0 win against Lebanon in Sydney last Thursday and would progress to the final round of World Cup qualification with another victory. Arnold says it's imperative that the Socceroos win the match and stay in first place in their qualifying group. It's all about getting in pot 1. At this moment, we are in pot 1. If we win the next 3 games, we stay in pot 1, and then it helps our World Cup draw enormously. That's all of today's SBS podcast. Test complete.